Hi, welcome, Speed Pod.
Matt and Becca. Put your paws up there.
I took the whole whiteboard with me.
Put your paws up here. There you go. Blitz the goat.
He's actually a goat.
He's like a climbing
and the
goat.
goat. Okay, it is not
The
podcast
goatiest
day.
goat.
It is not podcast day. Hey, you need to focus. Focus.
I'm
you
listening.
too. It is actually not podcast day. It is Friday. We usually shoot
It's
our
Friday.
podcast.
Woo! Casual Friday. No
all-
shoes.
Red Solo cups with our cold brew.
We're not partying. This is actually protein cold brew coffee.
Yeah. I don't explain myself to anyone when I walk in the gym with this. I just walk in ready to coach like this.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. We make coffee, make it cold, put protein and milk in it. I prefer it to be Paper Street coffee. Awesome coffee. But I'm currently out of their cold brew.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
frost,
focus.
the
Oh my
frost
gosh.
cans.
Oh my gosh.
Are we going right into questions?
Yes, I kind of want to.
Okay, go.
Yesterday, first question. Yesterday we shot and one of the mics went out rather early. We will do a take 2. He's using the stool as a headrest. This is our take 2. Hopefully the mics stay on. You stay focused on my green dot. I'll stay focused on your green dot.
Stare into the green dot.
Yeah. So we make sure the mics stay on and working. So we're going Speed Pod. Don't get my legs. My legs look ugly and ashy right now. I don't know, just dry.
Blitz gave up.
So that's what happened. That's what happened yesterday. And it sucks because we had many a good conversations, especially the beginning when we talked about the
I got you
affiliate.
angry again.
And you got me angry because you were insulting my coaching because I didn't explain it right.
We'll save that story for next time.
We will have to save that story. I do want to point out one thing before we jump straight into questions for today's Speed Pod. Actually, I have 2 things. That's why these things are not Speed Pods. Is one, I do want to get these
1A,
podcasts
1B,
down.
1C, then 2.
I do want to get these podcasts down to like 40 minutes. I feel like that's a sweet spot. Like it's right over 30 and then not too close to the
Or they could
hour.
put us on 1.5 speed.
I had someone come up to me yesterday at the gym, and he was like, I listened to mine on 1.75. And I go, boy, that's way too fast. That means I like skipping words. What are you even doing?
It's context clues.
I guess so. Yeah, we just released our mini doc,
Oh, there you
The
go.
Capital. So you guys need to check out the YouTube page. Gerard has been working so hard on getting this mini doc out for us. A couple Mondays back, we sat down in the gym and we shot some interviews talking through the Capital and what we remember from our perspectives and how we just kind of fill in the gaps of that story and give you guys a look into like how we navigated the whole scene and from a competitor's point of view, from a coach's point of view, and just try to let you guys in on how special it is from our perspectives. And of course, the moment is very magical. So that is on my YouTube. It is currently live on my YouTube channel. Gerard crushed it. Gerard is with Compete Media, and he is a baller. He's such a gift to our team. I'm so thankful for him. And he's so talented with everything he does. Check out The Capital Untold and let us know what you guys think. That is... I'm just really bummed that we can't talk about cool things because we're trying to speed pod.
Talk about cool things.
Because we had such a good conversation last time about owning an affiliate.
Content for next time. Next time we'll do.
Owning
Hey
an
guys, if you
affiliate.
have questions about owning an affiliate,
Ask that guy.
send some questions or
And we'll
about
answer.
affiliate ownership life, and we'll do that next time.
Questions. Here we
I thought
go.
You had one other point.
What if I go to the other half of the questions?
Oh.
What was
okay.
my other point?
You said you had one other one.
Oh, it was the getting the podcast down to 40 minutes.
Hmm.
How tall are you? 7'5".
I am 6 feet 2 inches.
I'm 5 feet 2 inches. A whole foot shorter than you. Ow, I was cold on my teeth. A whole foot shorter than you. Does that ever cause any issues for you?
No, no.
I was trying to come up with something funny of how we have a pretty, I don't know, is that a significant
You said, like,
height
looking up at me
difference?
sometimes.
When we first started our relationship, I was like, this dude's tall and my neck is starting to hurt from looking up at you. It's true. But no, I am 5'2", he's 6'2". Share your experience with phases of physical burnout. Encouragement needed. Oof. Oof. Burnout scares me. When I have hard training days, God, I had a coughing fit right before this. When I have hard training days, that's the first thing I think about. I'm like, shoot, I really don't want to feel like you're getting close to burnout. Which you kind of check yourself in trying to realize, do I really feel burnt out? Am I just having a hard day that I need to get through?
Is it really physical burnout though? Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
it's more
very
mental.
few people hit physical burnout. I think most people hit emotional or
you're right.
psychological burnout before they, or like that
right.
stress of life or stress of dealing with things, or like it's more of that than it is physical. I mean, if you think about
what would be physical burnout, just your body is just not
just
responding well to anything anymore.
Yeah, or just breaking down injury and you're not recovering, that sort of thing.
Well, if that, okay, in regards to this question, yeah, if your body's just not recovering and not feeling good, we in the wrong zone. You need to really sit down and assess like what you need to do to.
What's the volume of training you're doing? How much intensity are you doing? Yeah. Did you allow yourself to gradually build up on those things, or did you add in a lot at once? And then
that's always rough, is when athletes, we have a question on here that we can kind of combine with this one. Someone talks about jumping from 1 session to 2 sessions, and definitely, I know there's definitely athletes that have experienced this out here of just, I want to add volume to my training, and they do it 0 to 100, and your body's just like, whoa, what's going on? And that's where you can really get into trouble, just like not letting your body adapt and kind of build into that. So in regards to that question, physical burnout, I feel like at least there's this. You can really assess like what you need to change for physical burnout, but I'm curious to know if they're actually going through physical burnout.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing too. Maybe burnout just in general, it needs to be reworded, but I think even if it's physical burnout, that can be because you're trying to put in so much training and you have a job and you're really busy and you're stressed from the job and then you're not getting enough sleep, and all of a sudden it's physical. It's not you're not overtraining, you're under recovering. So that's a lot of things. But then the same thing you said.
Wow, you're a coach or something.
Yeah. So it's like everything, it's holistic. Everything matters. Mm-hmm. But then the same idea that you were saying with the person that wanted to go to 2-a-days is start with 1 2-a-day a week.
Yeah.
And then gradually build into that. And then really important thing, I think that most people need to realize, it really depends on your goals, your time, what your work life is like, what your family life is like, what you want to do with this fitness thing. But volume isn't always the answer. Sometimes that lets us rest at peace, like, oh, I just need to like do more. And there is a time to do a lot and to do more, but intensity and intention behind each piece is more important than doing 5 pieces middle of the road.
Right. So I've always said that about your programming just in general, and we've talked about it a lot just for me too. And people that want to be competitive, and sometimes people that want to be competitive are always just like, volume, volume, volume. Give me more. I got to just do more. I got to do more workouts and everything. And I've always felt you're so thoughtful about your programming that it's not always just workout after workout after workout. Like it's very much planned and balanced to where I feel like I'm doing enough volume that's appropriate for the goals that I have, but it's not overdone. So, I mean, that's kind of not a short answer for that.
Yeah, for sure.
But they wanted some encouragement, and really just ask yourself what you want and what you got to just be honest with yourself about what you want and what you really need at this moment, and start here. I know it's hard to just like assess where you're at. Start there, build it one piece at a time.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
Wishing you luck. I don't want anyone to feel burnt out of what they're doing.
Change something.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to feel burnt out. That sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Someone asked if noble clothing was required at the games. Yes. You guys didn't notice the oatmeal colored outfits that are always
They had blue this year.
At least they had blue. I'm very jealous of blue. But there was a running joke the whole time last year when we were dressed in all the tan that it was called oatmeal colored. You're almost an oatmeal today. It's kind of whitish though. Yeah, but they're the sponsor for now, as far as we know.
You can wear other gear.
You can wear other shoes and other gear,
but you can't wear you have to wear your jersey, your noble.
Yeah, which kind of sucks when you have your clothing sponsorships and they can't really. I mean, that's the games for you though. You got to wear your uniform.
Yeah, they're paying for. They should. I mean, I get that.
Probably asked a lot. How often do you wash your elbow band sleeve?
How often?
You answer that from a smell perspective.
How often does anyone wash their knee sleeves or elbow sleeves?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm gonna be mean for a second. If you're a true athlete, do you actually wash your stuff as much as it should be washed? I never wash my gear. Sorry. My wristband.
Okay,
at least I changed out my wristband. They were really smelling. Like if here's the rule. If I start smelling it, I go wash it.
Oh, here's a hack. I use a spray.
That stuff don't work on my stuff.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't make it perfect, but it works.
So I used to use that a long time ago, and I'm like, no, it don't work.
It's a Gold Bond powder spray. You spray it on your knee sleeves or wrist wraps or something like that. It helps dry them out. It helps there not to get the bacteria build up, which is actually what makes it smell. Yeah, it's Gold Bond spray. You spray it on stuff. It does help.
It doesn't work. It just combines the smell of Gold Bond with the stench.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it works. At least for my bacteria that tries to grow on my stuff.
My bacteria is strong. Got some strong ass bacteria.
You know, guys, this is what is unacceptable.
Big bacteria. Big bacteria.
Big bacteria.
Excuse us while we just crack ourselves up.
We're mentioning the affiliate owner thing. Guys, this is unacceptable. You don't wear your knee sleeves, get them all sweaty, and then just because you don't want your gym bag to stink, you just stack them somewhere in the corner of the gym and just leave to dry out in the gym.
Has someone done that recently?
That happens at the gym all the time.
I'm not digging the shoes.
I mean, there was times where it was worse with a few individuals, but yeah, that happens.
Okay, yeah, because
no one wants to smell your stuff.
If you do that, don't complain about the smell of the gym.
Yeah, no one wants to smell your stuff.
Okay, to answer your question, I don't really wash that thing. Maybe that one's been washed maybe once. Usually they tear or get too stretched out before I wash them. You
know what the worst smelling locker room is?
Like what sport? Wait. Hockey.
Yes. Hockey.
Because it's like
all the pads and sweat, and so you can't get that stuff out.
I know that. That was my guess because my sister dated a hockey player in high school.
Really?
And they said they talked about the stench and everything. They got big bacteria in there.
At the academy, there's the football locker room, of course. I mean, it smells bad too.
I'm sure that smells.
But you had to walk through the hockey locker room to get to the training room to get treatment or whatever, and it was drastic, open the door, get into the hockey locker room, and you're like, holy
gas mask.
Yeah, like this is ridiculous.
Was there ever any beef when you guys would come in contact with hockey players?
No. Most of the time, you're not in there at the same time because
Well,
it's different
I
seasons.
figured that,
it's different time of season
but
and stuff like that.
you
In
just
practices.
walk through the hockey locker room and you're like,
No.
okay. So proceed with caution if you see me wearing my elbow sleeve and you want to give me a high five or a hug or something, because it probably smells like something special. Can marathoners benefit from lifting and CrossFit? Thumbs up. Because you gotta get strong. You gotta get really strong to run fast.
Correct.
Oh, we were trying to make this answer really short.
I would say yes. Quick answer. And it just depends on what your goals are. If you're trying to be an elite marathoner, obviously you don't want to get too much muscle mass. But for most people, just running that are even being competitive to try to run it like big races like the Boston Marathon, you're gonna build durability. You're gonna build some strength in your tendons and ligaments and everything to like just help with all the pounding of running, and build some strength and power so you can run faster. I know there's some kind of group of runners that tend to like just do nothing but long slow distance, and yeah, they can run a super long time, but then they have a really hard time in increasing their speed because they don't have any muscle or as much muscle.
You do need muscles to run faster.
So,
you can't just be light.
Yeah,
you got to have some muscles. Also,
so I do think
protect
it would be beneficial.
Your joints too. A lot of athletes in athletic programs, I think, are incorporating more strength training and seeing the benefits of strength training for their specific sports for injury prevention too. Right. I wish we did that a lot more when I was a gymnast. And we talk about, there's an interesting conversation I had with one of the parents who has a gymnast that comes here every now and then. And he was like, the gymnasts their bodies have changed over the last few years. Like gymnasts are bigger and bulkier, which is good. And I'm all for that because it protects your joints and it can express more power because they're doing more strength training versus just all this picture perfect. This is how we train strength for gymnastics kind of way about conditioning. So that's what I like about combining. If someone's doing a lot of running and training for marathons, is strength training is important for injury prevention too.
Running is one of the most functional things that you can do. It's still the cyclical nature of just running a ton of miles. And, if you have little inconsistencies with your gait or your stride or different things, and especially running straight ahead, you're developing just a whole lot of reps moving in that cyclical movement pattern, and getting outside of that and doing some other things and different ranges of motion and squatting and all these things is really good for you, because that's how we should be. We should be moving all the time in a bunch of different ways. And typically, even if we have a sport like running and we're staying in cardiovascular shape, we run and we spend all that time training for marathons, but then we spend a lot of our time sitting, getting everything tight. We're not like
I heard a long
moving
time
in
ago,
different planes and
I guess it's
being as active
just
being active in different ways. So it's good to mix that up. It's cross training. It's good for you. I
guess this is just how your way of thinking about it. But I heard someone say one time, the sport, I don't know if they probably didn't say sport, or the sport that causes the most injuries, people say it's running, just because of the repetitions that you do. And I guess if you look at it that way, like, yes, think about every step that you take as a repetition, and if it's bad, imagine how many bad reps you're doing for your joints. I've heard that before.
For sure.
My iPad only has 10% battery.
Oh no!
So this is really going to be speed pod. We're doing good though. Did you have FOMO about the games this year? Did you watch any of it? Did you test any of the workouts? Why am I not facing you guys? Sorry. I'm facing this wall. It's all over the place. Yeah. course. And what I really didn't like is the people asking me these questions of if I wish I was there. Of course I wish I was there. And it makes me worse.
I think people think we're just maybe asking, do you wish you were there as a spectator? Everyone knows that you want to be there as a competitor.
No, it's just FOMO. So yes, it was hard leading up to Games Week, and I think Matt got to see a good. Always gets to see the fun sides of me, where he's like, "I'm excited! It's Games Week. We're ready to watch the workouts," and I'm like, "I'm not gonna watch the workouts. I don't even care." Being that hater, but no, we did watch the workouts. I enjoyed watching the workouts. It was super exciting. And we only tested about 2. Is that what we did? 2 of the workouts? I did a version of the pig chipper.
Yeah, they're all versions. You can't ever test anything really exactly like
it was perfect here. It was basically set up like the games. No. We did a version of the pig chipper because we have a big tire here. And we flipped that, did the gymnastics
you could do
part of it.
You said you wanted something terrible, death today. You could do the final workout and do it exactly as is here today.
How did it start again?
The
bike. The bike. And then it went into
thrusters.
The thrusters and then the lunge to the finish line. No, I was thinking of some other terrible mess. Something not that. What was the other one that we tested? Did we test another? Yeah, we did. I just can't remember.
Helena.
Oh, yeah. The gym did Helena, and that was super fun. Love me some classic CrossFit. So I enjoyed watching the games this year, and I think everybody enjoyed the fact that the leaderboard was always bouncing around for most of the time. A little bit sad about I love that Jeff Adler one, but I think we all wanted to see the race to the finish line too, between him and Roman, so I'm a little bit bummed about that. But it was overall, I liked it and enjoyed it and am fired up from it. Other than that, I didn't test or do any other workouts besides some skill work this morning. You saw me pirouetting on the box and you're like, get the soft box. Do you see my Instagram story?
Yes.
Yeah. Fighting me on, that's not dangerous, and then I go do it, and they're like, what are you doing?
They did it on a soft box. They didn't
and
do
a much
it on
bigger soft box.
They didn't do it on a hard box.
Well, I like to live on the edge unless a bike is involved.
The edge of a bike.
No, I like to live on the edge of the box. Yeah, ask me to do a pirouette on top of a box. That's even floating up in the sky, I would do that. Ask me to ride a bike. No.
What do you mean? You ride a bike, you just get scared.
I get scared of the bike. When our mics went out, I talked about how I'm being more vocal about my fears.
Oh, yeah. She's practicing her mounts and dismounts.
Off of the bike. And pretty soon, I'll mount it, do a wheelie, dismount it, maybe do a backflip off of my bike.
You don't need to be able to do that. You just need to be able to...
But if I can do that, then I can ride.
Go fast. Turn fast.
What if...
Learn to work the gears properly.
What if I became one of those people that flips dirt bikes off of the ramps in a show? Would you encourage me?
No.
No. I woke up one morning and was like, I want to be a... What do you
You don't want to be that. That's why. That's the reason I would not support that. Is like that's something that's dangerous. You need to be 100% hard in it.
What do you call those people?
Be like
the people that jump dirt bikes.
Dirt bikers.
What if
professional dirt?
I did want to be this at one point when I was very, very young.
Motorbikes.
I was very young. I wanted to be a monster truck driver. Would you support that? Those are safe, right? How do you get into that? Someone tell me. How do you get into monster truck driving?
I'm sure there's a ladder.
You gotta have some money to do that, I think.
No, I meant like to get into the monster truck.
I did not catch that. Wow, just full of all the jokes today. Would you support me if I was a monster truck driver?
Sure.
Okay. What if
only if Blitz rides with you and he has a little helmet.
That would be
next to you.
amazing. Just strap him in. Okay. If anyone knows how to get into monster truck driving, let me know. I want to do that. I think we answered all of that. What is the distance between a medium amateur CrossFitter and an elite level CrossFitter? About 2 feet right now. And this podcast is over with that comment. But I never said who was the amateur and who was the elite. So you can decide that for yourself. Okay. No, for real. Let's answer this question.
The distance, meaning how far apart?
I don't know how to describe that, but yeah, I know what they're talking about.
It's gigantic. It's like these athletes are professionals now in how they train and how they take care of themselves and the capacity that they've built. They're professionals, and it's, you know, they're the top 0.01%. So the further you get kind of that elite level, it's like the difference is logarithmically different, or like orders of magnitude different. So it's just that's kind of the nature of, I feel like, most sports and professional sports. Like as you get higher and higher up, the differences become bigger and bigger. For example, like going from high school to college football is challenging, and there's a big change in speed and different things like that. But just knowing how many college football players there are that can make it to the NFL and play in the NFL, or things I've heard about taking that leap from college football to the NFL, it's like a whole different speed. It's a whole different level of, it's even harder than the jump from high school to college. It's like significantly harder. So I think that's the nature of, like, as these guys have gotten that, it's become as professionalized as it is, and there's more people. So it's selecting there's more people to select from to get to that 0.01%. They're
you know what's crazy?
Truly elite and truly like separate, like drastically more fit than us.
No, you know, I have two thoughts on that might be kind of interesting. And one is specific to our sport, and then one is just general professionals, or just elite level athletes. It's been really, and you can talk to this too, I want to know how interesting it's been for you to watch CrossFit itself, really, the competitors field really start filling up, and the idea of it gets harder and harder every year, because the athletes are getting so good. And we know, like, when it comes down to semifinals and how it's structured, the season is structured, it's literally like anyone's game at semifinals, just because there's such limited spots, and they're like the pool of really the athletes that are in contention is like filling up so fast. So that's, I mean, has it been interesting to watch that, just because you've been watching?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's just the growth of the sport. From one, you have a bigger pool of athletes, to now every athlete that's competing has competed a year longer every year, no matter where you are. So that, you know, meaning, how long have you been doing CrossFit?
I mean, coming up on 10 years.
Coming up on 10 years, and you're 23.
For most of them, yeah.
10 years ago, if you were 23 and making the CrossFit Games, you've been doing CrossFit two to 3 years. Yeah. So you're just not as good. There's the sport and getting good at the sport, and of actually doing CrossFit, learning, you know, just think about how we break down workouts, and
but it's
just totally different than it was over time.
Yeah, but it's just been cool to watch that sport. Like, and there is a lot to be said. Like, we talked about this on one episode. Like, if you still balance your life out correctly, I do believe in training for this sport and having balance in a normal life, so you're not reaching what we kind of just talked about at the beginning of this episode of burnout. But there is, and was I talking to you about, there is the element of like when you hear me talk about work and training, there is that element of obsession to it. When you decide to make that leap into like, I want to go for being an elite or a professional, your whole mindset and lifestyle has to change to where is it on the priority scale. And it's not just training, it's the recovery side of it. So that's what I think a lot of people from the outside see. Oh, these people are just training more, and they might have some really gifted qualities for them as an athlete and some really good backgrounds, but it's also that obsessive mindset of doing things outside of the gym that makes that gap like really, really big between your everyday CrossFitters and then your elite level CrossFitters. And that's just every athlete. But the other thought that I had too, that I love to see in the challenge of pro sports and putting them on display, is the pros are so good, they make it look easy. You watch the elites do bar muscle ups in Helena at the games this year. They're just flying. The 12 bar muscle ups, I mean, it's challenging. You go try to do 12 bar muscle ups today and tell me how easy it is. But they're out there making it look like it's nothing.
Right.
So.
Well, another thing I'll add to that too, one thing that I think is cool about our sport is like we can all do a similar workout and feel similar way if we hit the stimulus right, like Helen this year in Helena. So that is something cool. And there might be certain average or everyday people that, you know, we do so many broad things. Oh no.
I just spilled that.
That, hey, maybe you're really strong and you can hit some lifts close to the high-end athletes, but you're not, you know, going to be able to do all the other things. And that's kind of fun about the sport as well. And it's okay that there's that huge gap. I think sometimes, like, yes, we want to be competitive and push each other to be better, but I think sometimes people would be bummed out by that. Be like, oh, these athletes are like so much more fit, or just they do so much more. That's okay. Like, it can be discouraging, but guys, everyone's goal does not need to be go to the CrossFit Games, especially if you're lying to yourself and you're saying, I want to go to the CrossFit Games, but you only have an hour a day to train, or you aren't setting up your life to do that. So it's okay to come in and get your hour and work hard and sweat. You're going to be fitter than 99.9% of the people out there around you, and use those guys or gals as inspiration and cheer them on and everything like that. And kind of, they can represent our methodology in some ways. But dude, you might have 3 kids. Go spend time with your kids, be able to go do fun stuff with your kids. You know, you might have this or that, or an injury that you've dealt with that doesn't allow you to do certain movements. That's okay. You can do the other things great, or build your way back into those. It's okay to be that everyday average CrossFitter working out for 1 hour a day, and in that 1 hour trying to better yourself and having a competitor's mindset in that hour too. Like, that's a cool thing, that where you can almost be the same as like, hey, how do I approach this hour?
I like that
in this class, and I can approach it in the same way as Rebecca approaches her training, and I get the best bang for my buck, and then I take this fitness and I use it to enjoy my life, or to live longer, or live healthier, and be an example for my family and kids. So
hardest thing.
That's
no,
important.
I love that. That's the hardest thing to explain, especially to new folks that'll see me work out with a class for the first time, or lift for the first time, and someone, this is a good example. Someone, it was a new person, and they were watching the big dudes, some of our strongest lifters in the gym, back squat their 80%, which is obviously a lot. There's lots of plates on the bar and everything. And this person was back squatting their 80%. And he was like, well, my 80% don't look like that. And I was like, it's still your 80%. What you're lifting over here, like effort wise, that's what they're feeling like over there. And it's all about having that inspiration in people to look up to, but also like staying in your lane and being proud of your little wins along the way. Sure. And your life is way different from that person's life over there. So make sure you're doing what you need to do. And
I love that idea of being honest with yourself and respecting other people's hard work. If I see somebody that's really good at gymnastics like Rebecca, and I'm like, oh, why can't I immediately do that? I'm disrespecting how many reps Rebecca's done to get to that point. What I need to do if I want to get that is go put in the reps and then be honest with myself. If I didn't put in the reps, I'm not mad at myself. Well, I just either got to decide, do I really want to do it and go put in the reps and then I'll get it, or just say, well, maybe I don't really care about that much. I'm okay with being not learning that skill and just being good at these other things. That's fine too. But I think that's important, is honesty with yourself and then respecting other people's hard work and the reps that they put in, and use that as inspiration for you to get your reps in.
Whoa.
Boom.
We were really deep into that question.
So you might be very distant apart as far as your physical abilities, but you could take some of the mental approach and some of the things that makes them successful and use it as inspiration to make you successful, to where you're actually training very similarly. So you're not that far away. Wow, we went all the way around on that one.
Fire. Love it. Okay, but we did eat up a lot of our speed pod time, and it was worth it. We got a few more questions we can fit in right here. And this one's a good one because we have to really think hard about this. What is alternate universe Rebecca doing right now?
We got deep into this the other day. Dark matter.
Yep. Well, I can tell you what she's not doing. She's not playing around in dark matter because she don't know what that is.
No, and like last night we were talking about infinite universes.
Yeah,
there's a version of you doing something just with every different
He could just like, this is what I live with. It's like these thoughts of just,
I know, I do have my moments where I start getting like deep into it and I'm like, I'm confusing myself now.
You thought the tater tots that we were eating were alive, and you're like, what if these tater tots
I didn't think they were alive.
Like, why am I more crispy than this guy next to me?
I was making an analogy
of why the tater tots talking to each other, of asking why he's more crispy than the guy next to him. Yeah, that's the craziness that I live with, guys. But no, I enjoy all those conversations. So what is alternate universe Rebecca doing right now? I hope eating tater tots. Man, this makes me want to spend a lot of time on this question, but we can't. I'll leave you guys with my jellyfish thoughts.
You would be, oh yeah. I was thinking like you would be an equestrian or something.
What?
Like,
are you like in a different sport? Man, that would be cool.
Or you would just be
do you believe
the animal
that we
lady.
have doppelgangers?
Do I believe it? Yes. You have a doppelganger.
Because you think your doppelganger is what is it? Ryan Gosling?
Someone told me that one time.
That's your doppelganger?
No, I didn't say that was my doppelganger.
But do you believe?
What do you mean, do I believe?
If is there a chance you will run into...
There's people that look similar to you. Do they look exactly like you? No. But there's people you look like, yeah.
You think I would be doing equestrian? I hope I'd be doing something more with animals.
You'd be like the animal person that's like, I follow this guy on Twitter who's in, I think, Vietnam or somewhere in Southeast Asia, and there's where they have huge issues with wild dogs, and he goes out there and he rescues these dogs, gets them, like, it's really hard for him to catch them and like gain their trust, and then they neuter or spay them, and then he nurses them back to health, and then he tries to get them adopted out. It's really cool. That's like something you would be doing.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I literally told, I'm building out some like dream wild goal plans, and I was like, I want to train, coach, travel with you and Blitz, and then one of the side bubbles that I had kind of drawn up is I was like, I want to do some charity work with Blitz for doggies and other animals. Wouldn't that be so fun? Like, I love animals so much. I got to do something. And then I ran across an Instagram page where this golden retriever, I just started following them. Amazing. He has a big following, and they use some of their big following to do some charity work for the dogs in the shelters. And they bought out like all the toys in the pet store and then brought them to the animal shelter. And I was like, oh, I have to do something with Blitz like that. That was me, buddy, making that noise.
Let's agrees.
Yeah, I think alternate universe Rebecca is doing something with animals and possibly just might be a squid.
Are you puffing?
Just might be a squid. Oh my gosh, we only have 2% left on our iPad.
Remember questions.
Just remember all of them.
Remember, you get 2 more, and then we'll do.
Okay, how do you not fart in a heavy front squat?
How do you fart when you need to get up out of that?
As like a boost, like button you push.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Point.
I needed that on. Maybe that's what happened on my squat clean on Monday. I had the dumpiest looking fight to save that.
No, I was yelling at you.
Yeah, you were.
People, you know what? That's
but
another thing.
Did you lose your voice because that front squat was so long? It was like that would. Oh my gosh, that's such a good Reels idea.
Boom, you got one.
That's such a good Reels idea. Don't steal it. I'm gonna do that one next week.
You know, I've heard people say, or they talk about how yelling doesn't work.
Oh my gosh, that's a lie.
I've seen it happen so many times in here. Just the energy of yelling and encouraging, like people literally like. Bar is moving up, it starts coming down, there's no way they should be able to make it, and then you yell at them, they're like, ah!
You've seen it with your own 2 eyes. Someone got pinned on our bench press. It was all in a like the safest way. Someone got pinned on bench press, and their partner was like watching, I would say 90% engaged on this spotting that we were doing. Like they were standing there watching, but it was someone who was like kind of like, I don't know how to describe it.
How can you be 90% engaged if you let him get pinned with the bar?
No, it was just like he stopped on his chest and it was like, okay, this isn't going up. Like help. He didn't like commit to it. And then he was like, oh shoot, and then like grabbed the bar. But it was so safe and everything. I was like, wow, this person just had a mom pulling the car off of her, like flipping a car, being able to lift a car off the baby kind of situation. Have you heard that term before? Like mom, like you can do some crazy things
with adrenaline.
That's adrenaline.
Like being on the competition floor.
Where did we start this conversation? Farting?
Farting on front squats. Front squat farting.
Check your digestive system.
Take care of your gut health.
Take care of your gut health.
Either go to the bathroom first, make sure you're good, or make sure you're getting some fiber and your gut health is good.
We need to wrap it up really quick.
One more question.
Okay, which movement makes you totally feel like a superhero when you complete it? Shh, buddy, we're answering an important question.
It's okay. I mean, a PR lift.
I think
I think a big lift, like a snatch or clean and jerk.
Under a heavy snatch, you're just like, what?
Yeah,
I'm so cool. Yeah, there's nothing better than getting under like a heavy barbell or a heavy snatch. That's cool. What's your favorite pasta shape? Wagon wheels.
Cavatappi.
Capybara. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Sorry for having to rush on you guys. It was a true speed pod, but I think we should do like some 20-minute rapid fire speed pods. What if we broke up our podcast into
all questions and then all
conversation? Cool. We should do that. What do you guys think of that? Because our conversations go all over the place, and sometimes I feel like we need to dedicate
I feel like that's just going to make, we're going to just be making 2 1-hour podcasts instead of 1 1-hour podcast if we do that.
No. We'll get a shot clock, and then we'll go from there. Thanks for hanging Thanks for hanging with me, Becca, that person, Matt, and Blitz, who's here on the ground, always protecting the table. We will see you guys next time for the No Regrets podcast. Like, subscribe, and always ask us questions. Bye!